Hello and welcome to the Girl That Went For It podcast. I'm your host, Johanna Scholz, also known as Johanna Liana on Instagram, and author of Believe in Life, How to Dance in the Rain. Feel free to follow me on Instagram, Johanna_Liana, for daily content. And now enjoy this episode. Welcome back to this new episode. Today, I want to talk about creating yourself. Before we dive into the episode, I want to share feedback that I received from one of the girls that joined my last group coaching. And I hope that this inspires you to invest in yourself, or just knowing that sometimes signing up for a group coaching or an online course can really change a lot in your life. So this one's from Sarah. She joined my last group coaching, and Sarah wrote, I love participating in Johanna's Mindful Evolution course. It has definitely taught me the importance of how my thoughts can influence my day-to-day life and to become more conscious of thinking positively. The little activities she set for us were so helpful for aligning my headspace with how I want my life to look like, and made me reflect on what I'm grateful for, as well as areas that I want to make changes. They weren't too overwhelming or time-consuming, which worked well for me as a busy mum. I really enjoyed starting my mornings with Johanna's calls. They really started me off on a positive note and for the rest of the day. Johanna is really passionate about what she teaches, and she shares how using these techniques has benefited her in her own life. She is relatable and makes you feel very comfortable on her calls. I always left the calls feeling very positive and inspired. Thank you, Johanna. This really filled up my cup, and I'm just so grateful that I could create this space, that I could create group coachings for you, that I can create group coachings for you and online courses. And I'm going to add one of my online courses down below, where you learn how to live your best life, how to become your most authentic self and live a life in alignment with yourself. Because I said it in one of my last episodes, but the goal should be to live your best life, and your best life looks different to everyone. So it's so important to become clear on what it is that I actually truly want. So I'm going to take everything down below for you to check it out, and I can't wait to connect with you. Let's start with today's episode. I often thought that life is about finding myself. When I was 18, after high school, I traveled to New Zealand because I didn't know what I wanted to study. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to travel far, far, far away from everyone, like to the other side of the world, and I'm going to figure out what I want in life. Well, that didn't really work out, but I always thought like life was about finding myself and becoming this one specific person. I don't know why I was thinking that. Probably because of society teaching us, telling us to find a job and be in that job or whatever. And I love how things are changing and how there are more and more people talking about that's not how it has to be. Yes, you can have a 9 to 5. There's nothing wrong with that, honestly. Nothing wrong with that. If that is your best life, your definition of best life, the security to be in a 9 to 5 job, or like be in a job for 20 years. Honestly, that's amazing. If that's what you love, if that's what fills up your cup, or if that's how you want to live your life, that's great. I just feel like I always thought I have to find myself. I have to figure out who I am. I feel like that's quite negative energy. That's kind of really like trying to be this one specific person. And that's quite overwhelming and stressful, and you don't want to disappoint anyone, and that's also bullshit. So I'm just here to tell you, you don't have to find yourself. What if it's about creating yourself over and over again? Like, you are changing all the time. You become a new version of yourself with every experience you make, and you can create yourself over and over again. I just want to get back to when I said like sticking to a job and staying in that job for 20 years. If that's you and that's what you love, there's nothing wrong with not sticking to that job if you are a different person now. It is more about creating yourself outside of that as well. Like your routine, what you do on the weekends, what you do, where you spend your holidays, you can change that. You can recreate yourself. You can start new hobbies. It's not just job related. It's just in general in life related. And I I just want to be the person that tells you, don't stick to your box, get out of your comfort zone, learn and grow and recreate yourself over and over again. Like, life is too precious to just stay or try to fit in this box and trying to stay this one person and trying to find yourself and staying place and staying that person that you were trying to find. Does that make sense? So life is just so precious, and there's just so much to learn, and you can still travel, you can still go on a solo trip if you're in a relationship, you can still learn a new language if you want to. There are like literally no reasons why you can't. And I just want to share a story of my mum. I'm really proud of her. As you guys know, I moved, or most of you, not all of you, I moved to New Zealand from Germany. I moved to New Zealand, and I kind of like, my parents are still in Germany, and a lot of their friends are now grandparents or starting to become grandparents and so on and so forth. So they have a new life, new routine, like they have grandchildren. And it's just my parents in Germany because I moved to New Zealand. So for them also, they're like, okay, what's happening next? Like what can we do? And they're really good in, like, they love biking, they love like adventures and all that. But what I want to say here is my mom kind of thought about becoming a yoga teacher. And I'm actually not sure if she's okay with me sharing this. I'm just going to share this and then check with her before I upload this. But my mom was like, I was thinking of doing a course to become a yoga teacher. And I was like, the person that I am, I was like, yes, go mom, I'm your cheerleader, go for it. Because she was like, there is literally no reason why I can't do this, like why I shouldn't do this. And she was looking for like a purpose, for something to learn. And she just recently has done or has started with the course, or the, how do you call it, like the certificate. And she just said she was a bit scared beforehand. And she was like, Johanna, I actually want to book a coaching with you, with my daughter. I need a motivational speech. And I was like, Mom, let's jump on a call. Like, obviously it's my mom, so we don't do like coaching, you know what I mean? But I was like, I think you need like a little kick in the ass. There is no reason why you can't do it. She was like, oh, I feel like I'm maybe a bit too old for this, and I'm just not feeling like super fit at the moment. I was sick the last week and stuff. And I was like, Mum, they are just literally stupid excuses. You told me how excited you are for this a few months ago when you signed up. And you're going to be so proud of yourself once you've done this. And what is like the reason why you can't do it? And like I said, she said before, she thinks she's too old for that. And I was like, you are never too old to do something that you're passionate about. If that's something you want to do, being too old is a really shit excuse. She is super fit and healthy, despite the fact that she just had a cold just before, but she is fit and healthy. And she loves doing yoga. She does it like, I don't know, 3 times a week or even more. She loves doing that. And I was like, that's like a stupid excuse to say you're too old. She is in her end 50s. So I'm like, Mum, you're like so fit. Do it. You're going to regret if you don't do it. And then she's like, yeah, actually, I would probably be disappointed if I don't do it. And the other fact was that she just felt not 100% because she was having a cold beforehand. And I get that. Like, once you have a cold, like you're bedridden, you just feel like you need to get back into a routine and need to get your strength back. But what better way than doing something that you're passionate about? Like an energy giver. I talked about it in one of my episodes, like attracting energy givers. And yes, it's out of your comfort zone. And that's probably why she was worried to do it, because she had to step out of her comfort zone. And that's scary. And that's our ego trying to keep us safe, because it's something new. It's scary, and we want to be safe, and we'd rather stay in this comfort zone. And I am so proud that she made it happen, and she started doing this certificate, and she loved it. She loved learning new things. She loved spending the afternoon, evening reading through what she just learning all parts like of the body, like muscles and stuff. I learned it in my I studied sports economics, so I had to learn all of that too. And she was like, I actually remember when you had to study that. And I was like, yeah, ask me anything, let's see if I remember. But she was just so passionate and so happy to learn something new, and I think that's just so beautiful. And sometimes we just need this little kick
to do it. And yeah, so I was like, you just literally created a new version of yourself, and you can like create a new version of yourself every day, week, month if you want to. You don't have to stick to this one thing. So what I want to say here again is, like, if it's about finding yourself, I feel like if you call it finding yourself and finding yourself again and again, it sounds quite overwhelming and a lot of pressure, and like kind of like, oh, now I have to find myself again. Like, I'm feeling really lost. I don't know what to do. I have to find myself. That's like, I feel like there's pressure behind it, and it's quite negative. But I feel like a lot shifts or happens when you change this and when you call it creating yourself. You can create yourself, and you know what? It's beautiful. You can create yourself over and over again. It sounds just so much more positive, and it takes the pressure off you, and it's a beautiful thing because you create something. You design something new. Whereas finding yourself feels like it has to happen. It has to happen a certain way. Like, you have to find yourself, which is, as I said earlier, bullshit. So when you start creating yourself over and over again, it's such a beautiful process, and you have so much freedom. You have so much freedom to do that. So many possibilities, so much flow, and it feels just so light. Like, I can create myself. I have all these possibilities, and the possibilities are endless, I tell you. So let's start naming it creating yourself, creating your life, creating your purpose, instead of finding your life, finding your dream, finding your purpose, finding yourself. Let's start calling it creating yourself. Creating yourself has a whole different vibe, a whole different energy. Who says we have to have it all figured out by a certain age? Who says we have to be this or that? I said this before and I will say it again. Who made the rules? You can make the rules. It's your life. You can decide who you want to be, you can decide who you want to become. And there are no rules. I know that this sometimes is easier said than done, especially when you're in a busy period of your life when you have a lot going on. But then especially it is so important to pause and just reconnect with yourself and just ask yourself a few questions like, am I happy? How does my life feel? How do I want my life to feel like? Because that's the most important thing, the feeling. Because otherwise days pass, weeks pass, and then another year's gone. Let me ask you a few questions. If anything was possible, what life would you create? How would it look like? What would you do daily? How would you spend your mornings? How would you feel? What would you do daily if anything was possible? What would you do? Now know this. The only thing that's stopping you from becoming this person, from being this person, like the person that wants to spend her morning a certain way, wants to start the day a certain way, wants to spend the evenings a certain way, the only person that's stopping you from doing this is you. Because you can simply decide, I want my life to look like this. So today I'm doing this to make my life feel a bit more like how I want it to look like. You know what I mean? Like the only person that's stopping you from this possible life, like I asked you, like if anything was possible, how would your life look like, feel like? What would you do daily? And all that. Only person that's stopping you from achieving this is you. Because you tell yourself, oh no, this is not possible for me, or I'm just not the person that can achieve that, or I don't think that I can do that, and I'm rather staying in this comfort zone because it's too scary. What if I fail? But what if you succeed? Like, what if you can create this beautiful life that you see for yourself? Like, what if it was possible? The only person that's stopping you is you. So stop stopping yourself. And I know, again, this is easier said than done because there's so much mindset work that needs to be done. There are limiting beliefs that might be holding you back. Maybe your family has always lived a certain way and you feel like only this is possible for you. Honestly, I never thought, like, I didn't know anyone in my family who moved to the other side of the world. And I could have stayed in my comfort zone and been like, oh, this is too impossible. Like, who am I to move to the other side of the world? Who am I to follow my dream and make this happen in New Zealand? Like, furthest point away, is that how you say it? Like, I couldn't go any further. Further. But who am I to make this happen? And you know what? I told myself, I'm going to be the person that's going for it. I'm going to be the girl that went for it. And I want you to be the person that goes for it. I want you to be the person that follows her dream, her passions, and creates her life. I want you to take responsibility of your life. Like, who are you waiting for? Who are you waiting for to shake you and tell you this is your life? This is your one shot. I just want to shake you right now and tell you, go for it, honestly. So my question for you, or questions for you to end this episode are, who do you have to be, or who do you have to create to live your greatest life, your best life, greatest life? Who do you have to create, or what version do you have to be to live your best life? How can you show up as this person today? As mentioned at the start, I create group coachings, and one of my courses that you can watch now is called Aligned Life Mastery. And this course is for anyone who wants to create an aligned and authentic life and wants to learn how our mind works and how we ourselves are way too often holding us back from achieving the best life ever. If this sounds like you, if you want to do this, if you want to live your most authentic and aligned life, check out the link below, and I see you next time.